Good evening, Rusky enjoyers. Hope you're alright. It's time for the predictions video. Yes, earlier today we had the July 17, 2025 Rust store, and we saw a lovely batch of skins being accepted. But the main focus of this video is to identify what potentially is the best investment for this week. Which of these skins might help us walk away with some sweet, delicious looking profit. So sit back, relax. I'm going to start yapping. So my initial reaction with this Rust store. Well, that's a whole Rust store there where every single skin is a collection continuation. But the main thing we saw was a brand new storage collection has begun. For the first time in 3 years, we have a brand new storage collection since what? Graffiti storage back in 2022? Yep. Sinotype, we now have 2 of these, and now we anticipate more. But overall, we also saw collection continuations, the likes of the neon fridges. That's part of the neon storage collection, technically speaking. But the subsidiary extra collection, that is the fridges. We definitely look as if we're potentially going to get all 4 neon fridges potentially been accepted. I haven't even mentioned the fact that we got the return of the Heatseeker collection, another transparent pay-to-win aim sight, LR300 right there in front of you. We saw as our extra late pick the Chameleon Boots. Yep, that's the final clothing armor piece. That was quite literally needed for the clothing armor set, so that's cool. Another transparent locker, own cage locker, and of course, Icepick. A salvaged Icepick skin has been accepted again, and this one's made out of pure gold. But overall, out of all these skins, what's potentially looking to be the best investment? I have to talk about Sinotype ammo. I have to, alright? The main thing, and please be aware of this, the main thing that it needs is another skin to be produced and accepted after it. That might not happen immediately next week. It might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, who knows, but we just need to see more being produced. So, first of all, let's just go show you my reaction. Sinotype storage collection is real! So, yeah. Pretty pleased about that. Yes. I was very pleased. So, I've got to get this point across to all of you. We haven't seen a storage collection in 3 years, but the amount of time skin creators tried for a brand new storage collection, I must have seen about 50 to 100 different attempts. I'm not joking. I'm always looking at the workshop. I'm always looking at these pixels. But finally, it's actually happened. Now, some of you might be sitting there and wondering, Hedge, how come you're not looking at SCMM to APP? It's lagging behind. It still has some problems, unfortunately. So, just want to quickly point that out. But what I would show you is the fact that the Sinotype firearms large box, that did over 31,000 subscribers, and yet right now it's sitting here at $7.50. Now, earlier, this went all the way up to $9, close to $10 at one point. But you've got to be aware of this. With each day that passes, more and more people are going to be able to list theirs on the Steam market, alright? Now, we did the abnormal barders last night. We questioned, were we actually going to get a collection continuation? How many of you were a believer? How many of you actually jumped in and bought some? Because if I could just quickly remind you, we did the abnormal barders. That was in the Rust store at $2.49. And yet, the barders went all the way up to $2.40, didn't it? Well then. So, yeah, if you don't fully understand what abnormals are, consider watching my most recent Ruskin Abnormals Barders video right here. Watch the first 5 minutes, scroll down, skip ahead to the actual Barders chapter. You'll realise that abnormal skins, they become marketable before the Rust even rotates. And with that knowledge, we'll race to figure out, we'll figure out buy orders, prices and whatnot. Then, of course, when the time is right, we'll race to put those barders down, and then we look at the barders afterwards on the skins, see if they go all the way up to its Rust store price, and then we question, okay, do I feel confident or not that this skin's actually going to retain its value? Should I actually jump in and buy some for the Rust store? Well, after last night, I knew the risks. I actually jumped in. I felt confident that we'd see a collection continuation, and I'm happy that I went ahead and bought those. So that did work out. But again, if you want to learn more about that, consider watching the video. Learn, watch. Watch and learn. Okay, so I'm going to sit here and say I do not expect the same behaviour for the ammo box to be similar to the firearms. This was first. And we do not know if the ammo is going to match up to the sales that the firearms did. Okay? So if we could just go over to here, you'll see that this did 31,151 subscribers. Okay? And here is Odyssey's workshop over the course of this weekend. You want to go ahead and keep an eye out and see what he produces next. And come on now. Of course he's going to keep producing these. He'll keep producing them until they tell him to stop. Or they just stop accepting them. So, okay, fair enough. But we do need to see another one to give the ammunition one a nice boost, okay? Or ammo box, sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of people very happy to see it today. But what's next? What would you like to see next? Wood? Stone? Clothes? I don't know. Feel free to comment below. What cool ideas would you like to see next? But overall, everything's lining up very, very nicely. And I've been in this position before with neon storages, scientific storages, and graffiti storages. And if you go look at graffiti storages right now, all of them are at like basically double their price for what they sold for. Are we going to see the ammo box do around 30,000 subscribers? Or is it potentially go up even higher? I would be concerned, all right, if this ended up like 40 or 50,000 subscribers. Now, let me tell you, because it has been several hours since the Rush Store has rotated, Sinotype ammo has now reached just over 7,000 subscribers. That is a fair bit concerning. However, if you can recall, in the first 24 hours of sales, this firearm storage, well, there you go, that one. This did, what, 13,000 subscribers? More than that. So I wouldn't worry too much, but let's see how things pan out. If you want to make a smarter approach, like abnormal barters first, but by all means, if you want one, if you actually want one and build up your own collection, go buy it, treat yourself. You don't have to always treat every single skin as an investment. You could just go buy a skin, show support to the skin creator, and keep them nice and motivated, keep wanting to put out nice creative designs in the future. Sounds good? Cool. So I feel like I've devoted enough time to talk about Sinotype ammo. Be cautious of the amount of sales it has. We need to see more continuations. It's just that basically. Do you reckon we're going to get potentially 15 to 18 skins in total, or do you reckon this would be done differently? Do you reckon FACEPUNCH won't allow as many? What do you reckon? I'm not saying I know. I don't know. But they have been very averse to storage collections for quite some time now, so maybe this might be treated differently. We shall see. Let's move on. So for the next skins I think might potentially be interesting is Funerary. Yeah, the hoodie and pants. Both of these right now are selling at $1.49 each. They aren't selling that much. After several hours, these have only sold just about 2,400 subscribers. Now, this is an immediate collection continuation to the backpack that we saw the previous week. In short, you're going to sit here and say, okay, but what else should I care about in regards to this? Well, I should point out that we have seen some tier 3 being submitted literally just this past weekend. So here is micro522.com, the accepted section, showcasing all the skins this is like a snapshot. This will show the data of all the skins, just as they're accepted. But the main thing I want to do is just go over to here very quickly, and I want to go quickly showcase to you that Mr. MA1, he did recently submit tier 3. If we see that potentially being accepted, what do you reckon is going to happen to the hoodie and pants? We've been through this so many times, you should know by now. If a new core piece is accepted, the pre-existing core pieces are spike demand, spike in price. And you know what? If I could just quickly show this to you. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there in the front, at the top. It's been bought out. Yeah, this is doing very nicely for itself. I believe that's $4 now. Let's just quickly switch that over to dollars, and well, there you go. Well, look at that. I honestly did not expect so much interest, but then again, you know, continuation happened immediately. We're in this position now. So Funerary is looking pretty good, and Skin Creator, well, I'm pretty sure he'll be making tier 2 over the course of this weekend. We'll see how it rolls out. But tier 2, tier 3, if we see it fairly soon, okay, yeah, we could see this working out very, very nicely. But let me also point out, how many active clothing armor collections do we currently have that haven't had a collection continuation in quite some time, that quite literally need it? Tiger tier 3. Tiger boots and gloves. Deep Ruby, what, like boots and gloves and tier 3 there as well. Black alligator hoodie and pants. Like, there's a lot of clothing armor sets that we've been waiting for. Island Assault. Yeah, there's another one. So we're in a bit of a predicament, but yeah, just be aware there's a lot of active collections that are kind of just sitting around waiting for more skins to be accepted. We'll see how that progresses. This right here, remember, you don't have to rush into making a purchase. That's abnormal as well. Literally, the only skin this week that is not abnormal is the Rock. You have all of these skins right here. They're all abnormal. So maybe it's better to just wait it out. Abnormal barters first. Right then, so looking at the remaining skins, I think I will talk about the Heatseeker LR300. So basically, this is a transparent aim sight skin like the previous weapon skins, or most of them at the very least. But the main question is, do people like LR300s? Do people actively like to keep using LR300s in-game? Yeah, this is a problem. So this isn't even the first like transparent aim sight LR300 we've seen in the game. We have seen more. We recently saw the Apocalypse Nomad LR300. Yeah, that's lost a third of its value. We also saw a jungle theme one about 2 months ago. Yeah, that's lost more than half its value and it sells for less than $1 now. But this is a Heat Seeker skin. And I'm sure you'd know Heat Seeker skins, they are quite in demand at the moment. So if I were to quickly go over to here, they're always on the front page. There you go, 1, 2, 3. But if I were to take a look at all of them, I can confirm to you that they're actually improving. A lot of skins went down in price towards the end of June. I'm not fully sure why, but I'm starting to see some lovely progress. For all of these skins, they are starting to improve. For example, look at the MP5. We know that this has been down bad, like real bad, over the past like month or two, because it sold like a stupid amount, didn't it? But if we could just scroll down, oh my, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. It's now sitting here at $2.60. At its worst, this went all the way down to what, like $1.30 at one point? Look at it now. Look at it now. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're seeing improvements. We're seeing nice things happening. So, in regards to the LR300, I am under the assumption that it potentially might be the lowest selling Heat Seeker skin. I don't say that in like a mean way, but realistically speaking, it wouldn't surprise me. If it sells like only like 15,000, maybe it actually might work out nicely. But by default, out of all the Heat Seeker skins, because of course, inevitably, it is expected that all skins in general, they will reach a low point once we reach around October time. September, October, November, this period of time is where we tend to see a lot of kids go back to school and whatnot. They can't play Rust as much. Lower player count, less demand for skins. Okay? When that all kicks off, when that happens, I wouldn't be surprised that the LR300 is the skin that will become the cheapest. It's definitely a situation where you're probably going to think, you know what, perhaps it is for the best that I just stick with Waldoonaald. That very likely will be the answer. However, with how things have played out and whatnot, I do think the LR300 will be retaining its value quite nicely in the foreseeable future. There are other options for a transparent aim sight, but this one, it's part of a very in-demand collection that a lot of people appreciate, a lot of people like. But yeah, the amount of transparency that offers to you, it's an insane amount. It's like a very, very helpful amount. Very pay to win. So, okay, probably better off with a buy order. Yes, the LR300 is abnormal as well. And I'd like to confirm after several hours it has just under 6,000 subscribers. Maybe it might sell a little bit too much. Maybe it might sell a little bit more than 15,000 subscribers. We shall see. So looking at all the remaining skins, I think the next one I'll talk about now will probably be Neon Veggies Fridge. So we've talked about this already. We talked about it last week with the meat fridge. If we do see, these fridges constantly being accepted over the course of the next several weeks, the first one is probably going to have a nice spike in demand, spike in price. So how are you doing, meat fridge? Where are you? Oh, you're over there. Oh, look, it's selling for $4. Now, earlier, it was selling for $6. It was doing a lot better, but it doesn't last forever, does it? No. However, if we see another one next week, what do you reckon's going to happen to that? Oh, yeah, spike in demand, spike in price. And then the week after that, oh, yeah. But the skin creator, he has only submitted 4. He only wanted to make 4. So just to quickly point this out to you, we potentially could see the berries fridge or the pie fridge potentially next week or the week after that, you get the idea. So, okay, fair enough. Only 4. But do you feel confident we're going to see all of them? I wouldn't be surprised if we see all of them. That is my expectation. Now, that worked out nicely. But over to here, what about you, Veggies? What about you? I gotta be honest with you, I feel like this is still going to play out like the lockers. So as I said, last year in 2024, during the summer, we had 3 neon lockers being accepted. We had the full kit, we had the hazmat, and we had the road sign. Only full kit got anywhere. That did 42,000 subscribers. And that went all the way and doubled in price. And it went all the way to $6 or $7 at one point, but it didn't last forever. Hang on a minute. We're starting to see some very similar behaviour, aren't we? See, that also went up to around $6 earlier. I don't think Veggies is going to be all right. Maybe in the moment, when we keep seeing these fridges being accepted, that, okay, yeah, maybe it will retain its value for the meantime. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does drop off as time goes on. Now, also take this into consideration. We've got 9 fridges so far this year. I'm expecting another 2 because of the other neon, the other neon fridges. And then Halloween, Christmas, I'm expecting another fridge, during those holidays. We're going to have a record-breaking amount of fridges. We already have a record-breaking amount of fridges. We keep seeing more and more and more and more fridge skins. If this keeps on happening, they're not going to be that special anymore, all right? And that's where things start to become a bit worrisome. And you also have to take this into consideration. Do you even need a collection of fridges? Comment below. We've already discussed this last week, haven't we? This wasn't the first fridge. It's not going to end up like the meat fridge. That's the expectation. Now, just to quickly point out, this neon meat fridge that you see over here, sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing. This did just over 20,000 subscribers, almost 21,000 subscribers, with 20,797 subscribers in total. If the Veggies fridge sells a similar amount, it should probably be all right for the foreseeable future. If it sells less, okay, that might be cool. But if it sells more, then I'm very worried for it, okay? So we'll see how things play out, but I'm not really expecting that much with it. Sorry to say. I do expect it to kind of end up like the neon lockers from the previous year. AKA, you could probably just stick with a bargain. You will most likely be able to pick these up for a cheaper price in the foreseeable future. That's the expectation. But I do think we will be seeing the continuations, and I do think that will retain value for the foreseeable future, as in within the next month or so. So a smart buy order could lead to some success. We'll see how that pans out. Cool. I think the next skin I want to talk about now is the Chameleon Boots. Now, the Chameleon collection, isn't exactly in demand. It's seen better days. But with the amount it's selling at the moment, and let me tell you, after several hours, it's only done 1,700-ish subscribers. It very likely might be the clothing armor piece that sells the least out of all the clothing and armor. So we've got the hoodie, we've got the pants, we've got the tier 2, we've got the tier 3, and of course we've got the road sign gloves. Road sign gloves, I do believe, was the one that sold the least, and as you can see here, it's retaining value okay, nicely, reasonably. If we do see the boots sell even less than this, which of course this only did 8,200 subscribers, perhaps the boots actually might work out very nicely. But then again, do you even like using boots? A lot of people keep telling me they don't like them. So I'm a fair bit concerned. But let's see how that pans out. It's abnormal. We don't have to rush into buying them. But these, clothing armor pieces, they're not retaining their value. They're down quite a fair bit. Hoodie and pants are evens, but tier 3 sold the most of that struggling. And the tier 2, it's okay, but it is still down a fair bit. So, okay, fair enough. Didn't have a sparkle on sparkle price with the arrival of boots today. That's the main thing I've got to get across. So, okay then, well, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, boots, nothing's really going to give it a boost afterwards. Maybe a jacket, but I don't know if the skin creators intended to do anything like that for a while, so we'll see. Next, I think I now want to talk about the Gold Chains Icepick. We just had an Icepick the previous week. Well, now we got another one. A $3 Gold Chains Icepick. Now, the Gold Chains collection is a very odd collection. What do you mean? Well, if I was to just quickly go over here and show it to you, we literally have 2 pairs of gloves, a poncho, and a backpack. Yeah. So, that's looking funny. But what I've got to sit here and say is, this is a very nice, shiny, golden Icepick. But I'll sit here and say, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a pretty cool looking Icepick next week or the week after that. I think we probably might still see more. And my main concern last week with this protocol Icepick was, okay, yeah, I'm not surprised to see it selling a lot because this is the first one we've seen in about 8 years. Because, of course, we haven't seen salvaged Icepick skins in a very long time. This was selling at $2.49. It's now sitting here at less than $2. It's already gone down in price. It's already losing interest. Oof. Oof. Yeah, the new gold shiny one has basically replaced it instantly. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we hardly ever see Icepick skins and whatnot. Well, now you're starting to see them a lot more. And they're starting to lose their unique and specialness, I guess you could say. So, be wary about the brand new Icepick and consider watching my rust rotation video to get a good look at it. But, sorry to say, I'm still questioning it a lot, especially at $3. Okay? Looks nice, and props to the skin creator. It's nice to see a collection continuation. It's just, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to leave it at that, if that's all right with you. Okay? So we'll move on from here. Oh, sorry about that. That was from the thing earlier. So, looking at the remaining skins, I think I'll talk about the Bone Cage Locker. This is more of a I'm not 100% sure type of situation. Let me point this out to you. This is selling at $2, but on the Steam market right now, I'll point out to you a skin that compares very, very well to it in terms of the same type of design. Bamboo Locker. Yep. Bamboo Locker was accepted like a month ago. We were very impressed and very like surprised with its design, but the price didn't hold. That sold at $2.49. It's now selling for half the price on the Steam market. So this is about, what, 65 cents cheaper compared to the Bones Locker? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. And there's a lot of listings below $2. So whilst the Bones Locker is obviously a collection continuation to the recent Bones small box, that Bones small box was basically a counterpart to the Bamboo small box. Very nice transparent designs and whatnot. But this hardly even budged today. That's the funny thing. This I think it's made like 3 sales today and that's it. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm not 100% sure people are super interested in this. And right now, several hours later, this has done how many sales? About 2,400 plus. That's it. That's it. So, yeah. It's abnormal. Abnormal barters first. That's probably the best way to go about it. That might not sell that much, but maybe that could work out very nicely in the future. We'll see how this pans out. But do be a little bit wary, all right? Be a little bit cautious. And then the Ultramarine Rock. So I'm sure many of you are fully well aware, Ultramarine skins, they have done very nicely as of recent. During the fairly recent springtime, or rather the February, March, April period, where we tend to see a lot of skins drop off in price, because again, kids go back to school and whatnot, people go back to work. The Ultramarine collection held on and actually retained value very nicely. The skins stayed in the positive. Go look at all these skins. The worst performing ones are only down by like 10%. That's the garage door and the coffee can, I believe. All of these are basically in the positive. This collection has held strong and people appreciate it and people like it. Not everybody, I know there's people out there that don't like it. I hear you all the time, shut up. But this rock actually might work out quite nicely because, number one, with the previous week, that Deep Ruby rock, that did like 12,000 subscribers, people just bought a shiny rock. This week, they probably don't feel the need. So maybe the Ultramarine Rock doesn't sell that much and maybe it gets carried by its collection. But independently, all by itself, I don't think people are going to care for it. I'm sorry to say. So we'll see how things pan out. That's not abnormal, though. We'll have to talk about that on Wednesday night. We'll have to just sit there and say, well, it's only done so many sales. Maybe we do go buy it, or maybe we don't. I don't know, but we'll wait and see. That is the lowest selling skin. That has about 1,700 as well. We'll see how it pans out, but maybe a sheer lack of sales will be a great benefit for it. We'll have to wait and see. So that is essentially everything. So get a good look at that once again to get a good idea of like how the upvotes compared to downvotes and all that, and the overall scores. The Bones Locker really wasn't doing that much, but all the other skins, they were in the positive in terms of downvotes versus upvotes and whatnot. Upvotes in terms of downvotes. Bleh. I only got to bed, sorry. Now let's just quickly inform you of certain details. In terms of new upcoming content, there isn't that much. We do have a new menu for all the skins, and you'll be able to look at them in like in a 3D view and whatnot. But other than that, the only new thing that looks like that's going to be introduced, that's like actual content, is looking to be the brand new Pilot Hazmat, a special DLC pack. I haven't seen anything else. I know. So now let's talk about some other things. Ruskin prices in general. So just a minute ago or two, I did talk about how the MP5 seemed to be improving. Could there be a reason for why Ruskin prices might be improving at the moment? Well, let's quickly hop back over to here. Let me show you this tweet from Protox. FACEPUNCH has essentially banned SKINBOX. I believe as of August 7, no longer will SKINBOX be allowed to have or grant access to people accepted skins and DLC. SKINBOX can still provide workshop skins that haven't been accepted. And yes, technically speaking, people could probably submit their own skins to then only be used in SKINBOX and not like be put in a Rust store. That's fine. However, could this potentially lead to more people thinking, well, all right, then I'll just go buy skins then? Could this, by default, lead to people having actual like interest and wanting to buy more skins? Could it lead to an increase in demand to buy like the pay-to-win skins and camouflage and whatnot? This is something actually questioned on my Twitter, and I did get some pretty good traction. Got quite a lot of responses and whatnot. So, okay, what are your thoughts? Feel free to comment below. But just because of this could lead to a pretty interesting future. Now, I would recommend you go ahead and keep an eye out for Mr. Protox's Twitter, and of course his YouTube. He's always pointing out new interesting things that might be introduced just around the corner in Rust. And of course, you can get a good preview of that nice, cool looking menu that's going to be introduced most likely in August next month, in about 2 weeks' time. There is the skin viewer. Let's just quickly zoom in there, give that a good look. Thank you very much there, Mr. Protox. I will link his details in the description for the tweet and, of course, his YouTube. But that is what we're expecting next month. And I'm worried because people probably rather look at this than watch my rust rotation videos. I'm sure people like to watch me for my yapping. My predictions videos still get like good views. Cool. So, yep, give that a good look. Thank you very much there, Mr. Protox. And again, I reiterate, consider keep an eye out for his Twitter. Cool. All right then. So, obviously, I was very, very happy. I also posted an extra thing talking about, like, this is the current state of the Sinotype. Look at that. Gone all the way up to $9 and did go higher at one point. But, of course, when more listings appeared, yeah, went down again. Cool. So, that is essentially everything that needed to be said. And now, one final thing to address. The brand new Twitch drops. So, if you go to twitch.facepunch.com, you will see that the brand new Twitch drops are right there on display. And, of course, a very special charity skin. I actually showcased this in the most recent rust rotation video. I mean, the one that's just come out. So you can go look at that at the very end of the video. But, of course, next week, between July 24 to the 1st of August, you'll be able to get all 60 skins for absolutely free. Just 6 hours of your time. Watch anyone streaming Rust on Twitch. Make sure your Steam account is connected to a Twitch account. Watch anyone streaming Rust on Twitch. 6 hours of your time, you get all of that for free. You don't have to physically be there. You could just turn the sound on and go, oh, well, time to go for a very long walk or something. It's up to you. Now, if you really want to, I will be streaming in the Global Warfare free event next week. I'm taking part, if you want to. But yeah, my details are in the description. Choice is up to you. And of course, I shall point out the Tiltify right here. So the goal for Mr. FANCYORB is he wants to raise $20,000 for Hope for the Day. It is a non-profit mental health awareness organisation to help out people that need help, of course. And I will sit here and say, you see this very special wooden double door skin, which has transparency and it glows in the dark. That most likely will be in the Rust store next week. It's going to be in the Rust store next week, either selling between $5 to $10. But all proceeds from this will contribute to the funds that's being raised here as well. So if you want to consider that, it's all for a good cause. And as I said, as of next week, it all kicks off. And I'm right there. So we'll see how that goes down. Oh, it's gonna be pain. But yeah. And of course, I should also point out, if you want to be up to date with all the new skins that are submitted to the workshop, all those collection continuations, it's all provided to you there in the most recent Rust Workshop Skin Checks video. All of these chapters are collection continuations. Yes, we did see some early picks this week, so go ahead, give that a good look. And that seems to be a wrap. So what are your thoughts in regards to this week? Are you pleased? Are you happy with this Rust store? I understand some people actually wanted to see some other clothing and armor skins that were continuations and whatnot. You can't have it all. But to see that today, honestly, it's a miracle. And from here and now, we might be looking at potentially the best investment of this year. I'm not joking. So I might have to do a video talking about that. I might have to. And I feel like I probably need to do a video overall talking about the progress of summer, Summer of 2025. We now know SKINBOX is getting removed. We have a storage collection. It's pretty good. But as I said with the MP5, the Heatseeker MP5, we are noticing improvements with skins in general. Prices are improving. So consider looking at your inventories right now and start considering if you want to consider selling again. Maybe August will see most of the skins peaking in price. But in general, lots of skins now are rising up in value. So give that a good look. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully it was nice, concise, and straight to the point. Within reason. But there was a lot to say and there's a lot to talk about and warn you about. So with that, thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. See you, goodbye.